Hey everybody, it's Paul from the Christian Rock 20 for CCM Magazine, here with the boys from Seventh Day Slumber. -1, how's it going, guys?
It's going good. Yeah,
Sweet.
Ken couldn't be with us today, so
Ken,
you're
missing out, man.
He says hello.
Disappointed kid.
But we are going to fire him because of this. So you heard it here first.
That's right. That's what we believe in here at CCM and the CR20 is getting people fired for not showing up. It's just a moral thing.
That's right.
So we're here to talk about the brand new record. It drops on the 31st of May. If you're watching this afterwards, then what are you waiting for? You already know. It's called Closer to Chaos. So what can fans who have been there from the beginning for Seventh Day Slumber expect from this new record?
Well, I think fans that have been there from the beginning are going to still get the things they loved about Seventh Day Slumber, the melodic melodies, the rock. They're going to get all the things, the lyrical content. It's Seventh Day Slumber, but with a fresh new approach musically. I mean, we've grown as a band. I know a lot of bands, that's the thing you say in your interview is like, yeah, we've grown so much as a band.
We've matured.
But yeah. Well, I don't know if we've matured.
We did not mature.
Matured at all. But,
it didn't happen.
But we're still the same old dudes. But no, I think the music, it's a modernized Seventh Day Slumber.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can hear that on the radio and not go, oh, that was written in 1999.
Right.
You know what I mean? But for us, 2005.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, so I feel like this record is, and it's been described by a lot of people in media that it's a defining moment for this band. And a defining moment for this band in Christian rock and in rock music. So, like, we're honored to hear that. We didn't put that title on ourselves, but it's just cool to read. It's cool to read that because we've put a lot of work into it. Jeremy produced it, our guitar player, and
Nice.
Yeah, Jeremy. Anything? I mean,
man, it was a great time just putting all this together, working with the guys really closely. Everybody was at the top of their game as far as like musically goes, and lyrically, I feel like it's the most we've worked together in a while.
Yeah.
Instead of passing things back and forth between studios, we worked together on it, and man, it just turned out really awesome and in exactly what we wanted to do.
Another thing about this record this record means a lot to me. My oldest son Blaise, is on this record, and before we've had, the other drummers that have been in the band, and also Lester, who was with Pillar's drummer and now plays for Kelly Clarkson. He's played on a lot of our records. He just get it done and for us. But Blaise has looked up to Lester I've known Lester since before he was in Pillar.
Yeah.
And so Blaise has looked up to Lester and learned a lot from him and learned a lot from our drummer Jamie, who's played with everybody from KJ52 to what's the Natalie Grant and
Hanson.
Hanson. But anyway, Blaise has learned a lot, and so this record was the first record that Blaise had creative. Like he could do his. We told him to go,
Nice.
and he's such a great drummer. And he's played with all the he plays with all the Christian rock bands. They all call him when their drummer can't make it or whatever. But anyway, he came in and he just poured his heart out into this record and his drumming, and it's just crazy that my son, like this dude is my son, but he's also like one of the best drummers that we've ever heard. And Jeremy's my brother-in-law. So my wife and Jeremy's wife are sisters. So this is his uncle. And I was a proud uncle and a proud papa.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. So is it fair to say that this is your son with whom you were well pleased?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Very good. So Blaise, that begs the question. Like, how did you feel being done with this? Like, did you feel closer to these songs than you did with maybe previous songs?
I felt closer to chaos.
Nice.
Boom! Hashtag it right there.
Wow.
No, yeah. I was definitely really proud of him because I played one song on Found, but this is the first time I've ever been able to like play and like put my whole heart into like a whole album, which I thought was just so cool. It's such an awesome opportunity and a blessing, and it's just especially to do it with my dad and my uncle and Ken, who's not here.
He's no longer with us.
He's no longer with
Did you
us.
catch that, Ken?
No, but like to be able to do it with all these like the best people I could imagine being in a band with, and that's not just because they're family, but it's just have you met them?
Right.
But I even got to like help with lyrics and stuff, which is really cool.
Nice.
And yeah, I just think it's so cool that I've been able to have this like opportunity and blessing to be able to like work on this with all of them, and It's just really awesome.
Fantastic. Now, the other distinction for this record for you guys is this is the first one that's coming out on your own label, Rockfest Records.
Yep.
So how did that, or did it in any way, influence maybe things that you did differently on this record as opposed to maybe previous records where you were reporting to a label as opposed to you being more or less the label?
I think our approach to recording has always been the same. Like, we don't care. Like, even when we were with BEC and before that we were with Word Warner, we never let them hear our records before. They would always be so mad at us. And so if anybody's listening from Tooth and Nail BEC, hey, sorry, but that's just how we roll. We were, but we never let them hear us, and they'd be like, dude, we need to hear, like, we're paying lots of money for this thing. We need to hear it. And we're like, nope. Because when we sent Caroline, they said it would never be a hit.
Right.
And so we had sent the demo version of it, and it was like, oh, man. Not saying they didn't know what they were talking about. I'm just saying, it was unpolished. It was bad. And it was bad. The demo we sent was bad. So we've never sent anything. But so anyway, the way we've always done it is we'll send it to you when we're done, but we always pour our heart and soul. But I will say this, having my own label and knowing that there's no outside influences at all, none whatsoever, I feel like really gave us freedom to do things that maybe we wouldn't have done or been nervous. Not that our label told us not to do it. We were just nervous to give it to them because we would think maybe they thought it was dumb, or we didn't. We were a little embarrassed to maybe give it to them, but we thought, man, our fans would really like this. So on this record, I am the label. So, and I think it's cool. So we did it. Like, we did all the things that we wanted to do, and it came out amazing. And our fans, we haven't seen them this engaged in a Seventh Day Slumber record in a while, and it's since We Are the Broken. And so anyway, it's awesome. And I think we've worked harder as a band too, because it's our own label, and we don't want to see it fail. Like, we want to show everybody that Christian rock is not dead, that it's surely alive. It's living on the inside.
We should write Roaring Like a Lion?
We should write a song. Oh, that'd be an awesome rock song. Christian rock, well, I don't know how you do it. Anyway, we'll have to get some pens and papers.
I got it up there.
Yes, we still use pen and paper.
There we go. I like it. So another, of course, part of a facet of the label and the band and whatnot is also a series of tours that you guys have created and been able to headline and really make a success and give bands that are just starting out a really big stage to share. Tell us a little bit about kind of like City Rock Fest and the Small Town America Tour and kind of how that got started and how that continues to be a part of Seventh Day Slumber.
Well, I'll let Jeremy speak to the Small Town America Tour because we were there sitting in a you can tell him.
Well, the Small Town America Tour has been like a brainchild of Joseph's, and I like to throw mine in there too, for a long, long time. And but we just from my experience, like, we always play these small towns, and people would come in and say, how in the world did they get Seventh Day Slumber in wherever this is, Bucksnort, Tennessee? And I'm like, because they ask us to come, and people don't, like, they don't expect that you would ever do that. And we're like, hey, we love Small Town America, and we hate that all these big tours pass it up, and we want to bring something special to you guys, and we're not going to just come with our acoustic guitars and do it halfway. We want to do it big and blow stuff up and have big lights and sound that blind you and blow your eardrums out. And we want to do it big for your community because nobody else is doing it. And so, like, we had that idea for the Small Town America Tour. Let's do it big for these guys. And it was a huge success. And we
were sitting too in a at a church. What's the food area at the church?
Catering?
No, it was
like a little cafe up front. The coffee shop
this
area.
was a small church. It was in West Virginia, and
they
they did a potluck. Yes, and they did a potluck dinner for us, and we were eating with the whole church. There were only like 30 members of the church or 40 members. Remember, when the youth group raised the money to bring us in.
That was in Lick Log, North Carolina.
Lick Log, North Carolina.
Wow,
that's right. And so,
shout out to Lick Log.
That
is awesome.
And so, but their youth group wanted to have us there so bad. There was a problem in their community with suicide and drugs, and they were like, "How can we know that Seventh Day Slumber can talk to these kids?" That youth group raised the money, washing cars, doing whatever they could to raise that money to bring us in, and we played in this small church. And after that, we had lunch with all the congregation, and they had a potluck, and it was like, man, we need to do more of it. We've already done a lot of that, but we need to go on a bigger level, and that's kind of we talked about it. So, and then the City Rock Fest tour. I got a message. Well, I get messages all the time from people that are just really struggling in life, like hurting badly, and they're like, Joe, I heard your song on the radio, or I heard your song on Spotify, YouTube, whatever it is, and I'd never heard of your band before, but man, I'm feeling like what your song is talking about, and I'm feeling empty. And they write me, and I was like, I'll write them all back. I do my best to write everybody back, and but I was like, man, this is crazy, because we were trying to book a tour at the time, and it was just like seeing so many bands not able to get dates because churches are like, well, radio's not playing Christian rock anymore. And so it wasn't just us having a hard time on a tour. It was Disciple was having a hard time on a tour, Decipher Down, all the bands, were having a hard time booking. And it was like, I was thinking about that little girl that feels like she's not wanted, who's cutting, sitting in a corner, and or that kid, that young man who feels like he's not good enough and will never be what everybody wants him to be, and those kids are being passed by because the style of music they like doesn't necessarily fit what Christian radio is playing right now, or what the churches are bringing into their churches, the crowd that they're trying to reach. And I'm like, man, here are these kids hurting, broken, and how can you leave these kids behind, man? And I'm like, we got to do something, and they're not bringing it. It's like Winter Jam's a great idea, but they only have one like rock band. The rest is all different varieties and stuff, and I love Winter Jam, but there was nothing like just for rock. And so I was like, man, we got to do something. So I called my friends in Disciple and my friends in Decipher Down. They had actually been done touring. They're like, we can't do this anymore. We can't. There's no money here to pay our bills. We're not trying to get rich. We just want to be able to pay our bills. So City Rock Fest tour, I called them. I said, hey, look, let's do this. I asked Disciple if they'd headline. We all took less in pay. Like, we all dropped our wages to be able to bring this tour. My wife and I own a sound system and some lights, and we just jumped on it. Jeremy said, look, I'll help booking, and we went for it. And before we knew it, that tour's like now the biggest tour, one of the biggest tours out there. And it's just, we've seen thousands of people's lives changed because of this tour.
Fantastic. And that is something. You brought up Winter Jam. It's amazing how the way people go to concerts have changed. People might hold out for that, once or twice a year Winter Jam, or the Winter Wonder Slam, or some of those others where they know they can see a bunch of artists that at least are going to like most of them. And they aren't going to pay a ton of money to get in. And it has changed. I have friends at radio stations who were trying to give away tickets to a band that was top 5 on the Christian rock charts, and people were like, I can watch the video on YouTube. Why would I go to see? And like, they'd never been to a concert. They didn't know, but they really were like, but I have to leave my house for that. And it's a different world that we live in. So I'm glad that you guys are upping the ante, being like, it's cool if you don't want to see just us, but what if you see like 4 of the 5 bands that are in the top 10 now?
You can't miss Fireflight, Seventh Day Slumber, Decipher Down, Disciple, all in one. Like, if you miss that, you just
you feel like you're actually missing out on something.
Life is falling apart. At that point.
It literally is.
It literally is if you miss that.
So I have a follow-up question, 2 follow-up questions about that, really. Number one is, of course, on the most recent City Rock Fest tour, you guys had Righteous Vendetta. Now, up to this point, almost everybody who's been on a City Rock Fest tour has coincidentally ended up on Rockfest Records. Any plans to get the RV on?
We've talked to them, but it's just right now I've got so many artists that I feel like I just want to be able to give them everything they deserve. You know what I mean? And I mean, none of us deserve anything, but these are bands that we've signed that and we love Righteous Vendetta. Man, I'll tell you what, those guys, they put on an amazing concert. They are every single night. People are like, man, they don't even preach or say anything from the stage, they were the only band on the City Rock Fest tour that didn't say Jesus or God. Yeah, but did you see them every single night talking with kids, spending time with kids, hugging on kids, loving on kids? It'd be everybody would be gone except for maybe 3 kids that Righteous Vendetta's talking to. They care about their fans, and you don't see what they're talking to us about in the back.
Right.
But anyway, we love those guys, and you know what? That has been talked about for sure.
Cool. Sweet deal. And the other thing that comes to mind is, of course, you guys had kind of a big moment in March with that bus crash, and I know that there was a lot of things that happened around that. But how has that bounced back for you guys as far as getting back on the horse, so to speak, after going through something like that?
It was a really traumatic experience, and to be honest with you, if we're just being completely honest, I don't know that I'm completely 100% healed from that. I still hear my kids crying. I still see my wife had convulsions in front of me, drop to the ground while my kids were screaming. There's a lot about that. I mean, we almost died. I mean, and if you look at the pictures, you would think that somebody, or you would say somebody probably should have died. And it's very difficult. Blaise, I know my kids have been affected big time by it, but we knew we had to get back into the bus. We had a tour that we were still on, and people that are hurting and people that are I don't know, Blaise.
I mean, it was definitely crazy. I slept through it. Our guitar, he was playing guitar with us, Weston. He woke me up. He was like, "Hey," he's like, "Are you okay?" I woke up to everybody screaming, of course. But yeah, no, but I slept through it. And like once I woke up and realized what happened, he was obviously like, "Whoa, like hold on." Yeah. And like I heard my dad in the front, because I was in the back area, like I have the back bunk.
Yeah.
And so I heard him yell like, "Lori, Lori," and then I didn't know what was happening. So obviously my mind went to the worst thing. So that was, right. I think that was the worst part about it, was like just hearing him yell and and not knowing what that was.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely kind of hard to like get back on track for the first few weeks and stuff. But like at the same time, I know that this is what God put us out here for, and I know He's gonna keep us safe. So it's just kind of, we don't have a choice, because this is what God put us out here to do. So either don't listen to Him or listen to Him and know that He's going to keep you safe, and you just have to trust that.
Cool. Fantastic. Well, earlier, before we turned all the cameras on and started recording, you kind of alluded to something that was to come for the City Rock Fest.
Yeah.
And I know that there's sparse details on this, but go ahead and clue the people in.
Well,
on this.
the City Rock Fest tour, we're always kind of up in the ante, and we love giving the fans, like, we want to give them the most awesome experience ever. And so we've gotten all new lights, big LED wall. We've got a bunch of stuff happening, and I can't tell you we've already got a couple of bands on the City Rock Fest tour this year that people are going to be really excited about. But also at the end of it, we're topping it off with and I won't talk a lot about this because you're the first to know, but we're going to be doing a City Rock Fest cruise with all the bands, so you can meet the band, shake hands. There'll be meet and greets. There'll be performances, and really intimate acoustic performances by the bands, stuff that you wouldn't get anywhere else, and we're going to make it so affordable that families can come.
Nice.
Yeah.
Seventh Day Slumber on a boat, y'all.
Yep.
That's all I got to say.
It's a pontoon boat.
It's a pontoon boat. And several pontoon
Once
boats.
per hour, Florida Keys.
Yeah.
You know how they do.
Still a cruise.
There you go.
Still counts.
There you go.
Yeah.
Still counts. Just far enough into international waters to where it kind of works.
Exactly. All right.
Well, cool deal. Well, anything else you want to let people know about the new record, about anything coming up that we haven't touched on?
I would just say, look, this album, we didn't write it for us. We wrote this because we know that people are struggling in life, and there are people that, they love the Lord and they do great in life and everything, but sometimes we just need encouragement. And this record is for everybody. It's a record literally for everybody. Even if you go, man, I'm not into rock like so much, this record is still for you. We've got Blaise co-wrote 3 songs on the album. One of them is called Man Down, and I want man, this song is about post-traumatic stress disorder. It's about our service men and women, those that have served and those that are serving now, and that they come home from Afghanistan and Iraq and wherever that they're deployed to, and they come home and the battle is not over. There's a battle going on in their minds. And you don't know what they go through on a daily basis. And we've been getting tons of messages from our servicemen and women that say, hey, listen, your music got me through my deployment. And now that I'm back, I'm struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder. And this song, we would let them hear snippets on our. We're not supposed to do that, but since I have the record label, I can let myself do that.
I do what I want.
I do what I want. But no, but we play, like we'd play it, and I would read the lyrics, and people are really excited about that song. But that's a song that comes from the mouths of and stories that we have heard from servicemen and women, and they've been asking us to write a song about it, and we wrote it. And actually, it was Blaze that came to me and said, "Daddy, I got this song, and it's called Man Down, and I want you to hear it, Daddy." And he read it, and I was like, it's dusty in here. Nice. I couldn't believe it, like this kid. But anyway, so we got together with Josiah from Disciple, Josiah Prince, and Blaze, Josiah, and I wrote the song. And I would just say, look, whatever you're going through in life, we got something for everybody here, but most importantly, we can't save anybody. We can't save ourselves, you know what I mean? Like, but there is a God in heaven who loves you, who truly cares about you. He's got a plan for your life. And, yeah, man, don't ever forget that. If you forget this, this interview, you forget, the music, all that stuff, don't forget that, man. You are not alone. You are loved more than you know.
Well, I hate to not end on that because that's perfect. But I have my question that I always have to ask, and I know that you two have both had to go through it. Jeremy has not, but we're going to ask all three of you guys anyway. Mm-hmm. But despite the fact that you guys tour all over the country, you guys blow faces off all the time. Mm-hmm. You guys are tearing it up. But from each one of you, what do you think is the most un-rock and roll thing about you?
You can start.
It'd be easier to count the things that are rock and roll about me. I've got tattoos. That's about it. I love working in my yard.
Nice.
I have a green thumb, so I can plant stuff and actually make it grow. That's pretty un-rock and roll. I don't know. I think I've always felt like I was not the rock and roll person in the band. I don't dress cool. I don't look cool. I just got tattoos, and that's pretty cool. So
hey, works for me.
That's what I got.
Cool.
I would say probably one of the most un-rock and roll things about me is that before concerts, when I'm in the back of the bus, I literally just watched reruns of Family Feud constantly, or
nice.
Cops, or
nice.
Cops. Yeah. And for real,
Cops is pretty rock and roll.
Yeah, but Family Feud, my wife and I, she's the tour manager for the City Rock Fest tour. Yeah. And so when she's not, she's usually busy all day, but when she's not, she comes in the back and we just watch Family Feud.
Okay, who's the favorite host of yours for Family Feud?
I have to say Steve Harvey because I've watched him the most.
Yeah.
He's just, the reruns are all him.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of, I just have to say Steve Harvey. He's funny.
He is.
And, to me, I know that's probably going to not sit well with other people, but Steve Harvey to me is the best host.
There you go.
If you want to have us on Family Feud.
Yeah.
Family
Feud.
I think you should.
I don't know what camera to look at, so I'm looking at that one.
That's okay. We'll figure it out. So what's the most un-rock and roll thing about Blaze?
I play a lot of video games.
Okay.
That's every rock man. Come on.
I don't know, Minecraft.
Okay. Well, that's slightly less rock and roll.
That's slightly less.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I watch anime sometimes. Yeah. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. He's rock and roll.
This kid grew up in it, so he's just rock and roll. He
has the same problem as the girls from GFM. They're listing off 20 different things. I'm like, all of those are rock and roll.
Yeah, that's who we play Minecraft with. So
see, there you go.
Let's just expose them.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids in GFM grew up in rock together, so they I would say Minecraft's maybe less rock and roll, but that's it's still. It's not like watching Family Feud or working in your yard.
I do like
these
Family
bushes,
Feud,
man. They're just getting out of control, man.
I really like my lawnmower,
bushes.
man.
You can't even see my 5th car garage.
I love it. Cool deal, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Seventh Day Slumber, the new album, Closer to Chaos, May 31st. You got to check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I think it's important to know that I don't have 5 garages, all right?
We have 6.
Just 4. See, he took it to the next level. I love that. Cool deal. We'll check it out next time. Paul Gibson for the Christian Rock 20 and CCM Magazine. We'll see y'all